TIFU by calling my Latino employees dumbass repeatedly. Not today, but it just kinda caught up to me. So a few years ago I got hired as a department supervisor at a members-only shopping club similar to GFS or Costco. When I interviewed, I needed the job and the interviewing manager told me that the two guys who worked under me in the department didn't speak English, so I'd have to learn Spanish. Well, I worked in a giant freezer and it was too cold to pull my phone out and use Google Translate. I hadn't earned my forklift certification yet, so I had to ask them to pull stuff down for me occasionally. And I didn't want to sound like a 50-year-old white dude and call them amigo, so for some reason, in my mind, cabron meant something similar like buddy or dude. So I'd say something like, "Hey cabron," to get their attention, and point at what I needed and follow up with por favor. Well, during the interview, the manager told me that one of them might not like me because I was getting the job he was trying to get promoted into. So when I'd get dirty looks from them, I assumed part of that was the reason. Eventually I got fired and the manager wouldn't tell me why. Just said, "You know why. I just recently decided to look up the direct translation of cabron. Oops. Sorry guys. TLD or thought cabron meant buddy, and accidentally called my employees dumbass for months." Future reference: all the Mexican guys at work call me amigo lol, they won't find it weird. Lol at this cabron. Manager: you know why. Up. I mouth I. Cabron: if you're friends is a term of endearment, but if you're not very good friends it's a pretty gnarly shot at the person. Did these guys not have names? Many years ago my aunt, in Texas, had some guys from Mexico doing handyman work around her ranch. My aunt, wanting to make small talk but being unable to speak Spanish, made an offhand remark about the cold weather they were having. Mucho culo, she said. That did not go over very well. You should have just used puto, which is the correct translation for buddy. If someone at my job spoke like 4 words of English and kept calling me asshole, I'd find it awesome. It's just like calling your buddy an ass. It gets old if it's all you call them. And if they aren't your buddy, pal, then it's just calling them an asshole. Cabron can be used between friends and not be offensive. My friends and I use it with each other all the time. I learned a while back to be careful what you learn from work friends in other languages. Convos between friends ends up having more colorful language. I picked up some choice word phrases in Hindi at one point, and didn't quite grasp one of them properly when used later. Yikes. Looks like you are the cabron today, mate. You could have learned their names and called them that. Gringo cabron. ITT 200 translations for cabron, none of them positive. Hey cabron? Cabron doesn't mean dumbass, dumbass. That's just Google Translate trying to be polite about it. The cojones on this jabroni. I worked construction with a mostly Mexican, Central American crew. I'm white American who at the time spoke almost no Spanish. One of the older Hispanic guys on the crew was kind of pudgy. The other guys told me his name was Gordo. I assumed it was like the American name Gordon, which is shortened to the nickname Gordo. I kept calling him Gordo. After several days he looked at me reproachfully and said, "Don't call me that." Most of the other boys laughed, but one of them felt guilty and explained to me that Gordo was Mexican slang for fatso. I immediately apologized to Gordo, who told me his name was Juan. I explained that the other guys had played a mean joke on both of us and he accepted my apology. To their credit, I saw the rest of the homeboys approach Juan during the day and offer their apologies too. It definitely should have been brought up well before getting fired. And there's no way they wouldn't tell you why you were being fired with just a, you know why. I mean, not a reason to fire you. Should have been talked to about it. But it's a lesson in not using another people's language wantonly to communicate without having a remote understanding of it. You can say a lot of shit you absolutely do not mean.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.